Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. Now in today's video, I'm super excited to share with you my review of the Huawei P60 Pro that I've actually been using for the past 2 months. Yes, it has just landed here in Malaysia, but I've already been using it for 2 months, which is a very long time. So I do have a lot of things that I want to share with you guys today, so sit back, relax, and let us begin. Now first and foremost, it's worth mentioning that the P series smartphones from Huawei has always been focused on photography. So naturally, with the P60 Pro here, Huawei is again pushing forward their boundary in terms of what they can achieve on a smartphone's camera. Now I've taken a ton of photos guys because I've been traveling, so I use this phone a lot of my times here, not just taking photos at night, testing out the telephoto lens, the ultra wide and everything. So let me share a bit of ideas with you guys. Now just in case you're wondering about the numbers, we do have a 48MP main sensor, a 48 megapixel telephoto lens and a 13 megapixel ultra wide. I don't think these numbers are that important because it is the final outcome, the output, the kind of images that you get that is the key story here. So let's take a look at a couple of photos. Now I want to start off first and foremost by talking about the night shots because I think the strongest point of the P60 Pro here is actually in terms of its low light capabilities. Now as you can see, I've been traveling, like I said, a couple of places and I'm always out and about at night trying to capture the city skyscape and all that. So you might see here that a lot of photos taken at night is actually super clean. I noticed that there was minimal noise and you actually have a lot of detail in all these shots. You can see that the Huawei P60 Pro here is doing a fantastic job at brightening the entire scene or the entire environment. Now we do have a telephoto lens here and more often than not, we don't use it that often. But in the case of the P60 Pro, I noticed that the telephoto lens does very well at night. You can see that I was actually watching this sort of like live concert going on and it was actually quite far, like a couple of steps down the staircase, and I was just using the telephoto lens, getting a couple of shots in and I was quite surprised with the amount of detail that you can capture. You can see the faces of the singer very clearly, the instruments, everything is very well done on the telephoto lens at night, so that's also a very strong point with the P60 Pro. Alright, so now that we've done talking about the night photos, of course I should share with you a couple of daytime shots as well. The key consistency point here is all about getting super clean images with minimal noise and a lot of detail. So this is what I saw in the day as well. I'm just going to show you a couple of photos here and you can see for yourself they are all very nicely done. The XMage system on the Huawei P60 Pro here is doing a great job. So at the end of the day, I think that the P60 Pro here is definitely once again taking the leap forward for mobile photography. Oh, before I forget, there's also a couple more shots that I wanted to share with you, and that's actually the night portrait. So I was actually chilling at a shopping area, a couple of nights back then, and I noticed that just taking night portraits actually look quite nice. I mean, you have very nice blurred background. The P60 Pro is actually quite good at that. Alright guys, so that's pretty much all that I want to share in terms of the camera. Let's move on and talk about something else, and that is probably the design. Now we do have a very unique design on the P60 Pro here. It's called the Rococo Pearl. I think long story short, it's inspired by a pearl, and the fun fact that you might not know about this back panel here is that this back design is actually unique to each device. Now if you have another P60 Pro, you can put it side by side and you can see that the pattern at the back is very different. So each device has its own unique look, and I think that's actually quite interesting for a flagship. Other than that, in terms of the display at the front, now this is again a Kunlun Display, so it has that 5-star drop resistant rating. Obviously I'm not going to drop my phone this time, I've dropped it in a previous video, so I don't want to drop this one, but it's again a very strong and durable display that I don't even have a screen protector on and it's still looking fine. Other than that, obviously we also have the 120Hz AMOLED display, so it is a fantastic display just like you would expect on any flagship. Now moving on to the battery department, since I've been using it quite extensively, I noticed that the battery life was always sufficient, but just in case you need to charge up your device, it does support the 88-watt Huawei Supercharge, and it does like 50% in just 10 minutes. So again, very quick charging as you would expect from a flagship. Now last but not least, just in case you are wondering about the processor, we do have a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 in here that is actually good enough to handle all your daily necessities, your daily applications, your games and all that. It should be working very well on the Huawei P60 Pro. Now since I'm talking about application and games, I want to just remind you once again that we do have this app gallery that works perfectly fine with Lighthouse. I receive a lot of questions all the time about whether the Huawei phones can run Google apps, like YouTube, your Gmail, Google Maps, all that works perfectly with Lighthouse. If you want to find out how to use Lighthouse, I think I've already done a video before, but essentially all you need to do is download the app and then sign into your Gmail account, and right away you will be able to use your favorite Google apps. It's not just that, you can also use your favorite apps like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, I think all kinds of apps you can use it. And when you update the app, it's not like before where you have to go through a long process. Right now, you can do it just like any other app store, hit update, and the apps will update right away. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up my review of the Huawei P60 Pro. Again, I think this is a very camera-centric smartphone. If you are into like really strong smartphone photography, I strongly suggest you check out the Huawei P60 Pro. The device is now available for pre-order. If I'm not mistaken, the price is RM4699 and it should be available for pre-order right now as soon as you watch this video. You can get it at the Huawei stores or online, and obviously you can also head over to the Huawei stores, to just check it out in person. With that said, that pretty much wraps up my video of the Huawei P60 Pro. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about this particular device. Don't forget to drop a like, sub to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Stay safe everybody. Bye bye.